Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live on a Thursday night. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. We have a special show for you here tonight. We are really excited, first of all, to have another expert here on the show at Publicly Buzzed. Lisa Ribacoff is going to be joining us, folks. She is a New York licensed private investigator and a polygraph examiner. And she's been featured in a lot of crazy fucking shit. And the fact that she's going to be hanging out with us here on Publicly Buzzed Live is insane. And I'm really excited for her to be here. Let me make sure, first of all, that I hit the right button. Give me 1 second. Boom. What is up, everybody?
There we are.
Hey.
Lisa, thank you so much for being here. What is happening?
Not much. What's going on over there, guys?
Not much. Let me make sure everything is looking good. I think we're good on this side. Yeah.
Anybody in chat? We're using that new system we talked about last Feral Friday. So if we have any issues, let us know for sure.
Everybody in chat, yes. So Dan has essentially set us up to where Lisa is the first guest to get the easiest route into the show. She didn't have to go through Discord. So Lisa, we used to have them come in Discord with their audio, and then we had to give them a camera through the OBS Ninja. So it was two different things they had to work with, and Bob Mata hates it. but I think this is hopefully, again, give us some feedback in the chat. Everything's sounding good. Thanks everyone for being here. First of all, see Jay hanging out. What's going on, brother? Bobby, thank you for being here. Debbie, Todd, Holly Berry. Let me make sure these are working real quick.
So don't, guys, just so you know, if I'm not looking at you and it looks like I'm looking two different ways, I actually have the live stream on my laptop and I've got the YouTube feed on my computer with the chat. So I'm going to be like plugging back and forth, and just so you know, so I'm not like, if you think I'm like, oh, you're ignoring me. No, I'm just like going back and forth.
No, definitely. Yep. And we were talking a little bit beforehand, and she's already ready to rock and roll on this. Yeah. And I know you've been deep in the Gilgo case. But I kind of wanted to go a different route tonight. I wanted to go into the Idaho 4 case. I messaged you to be like, are you familiar with Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger? And, you had to get a little bit, kind of caught up on what's going on. But yeah, before we were getting on here, you're hyped up.
Oh, I am like full speed ahead. You'd probably think I was like a drug addict on some sort of substance, but I'm sober as all can be right now. I know some people could possibly be disappointed in that, but, Gilgo's been a little busy considering the fact that it's gotten more mainstream news, considering everything that's been going on with the new revelations and the new ID of Karen's body last week, and potential possibly more victims being ID'd next week. So I am a little busy on the media front, but I'm so glad you guys reached out to me regarding Idaho, because I do feel that because there's so much going on in the true crime world that Idaho has been put to the wayside, and it really needs to come back to the forefront.
Yeah, a little bit. And I know a lot of experts are saying that we're probably not actually going to be going to trial in October. That's kind of what we're still looking at. What do you think on that? Do you think that's going to end up probably being pushed back a little bit? We're not going to, they're still doing these motions and whatnot.
Yeah, until everyone can start to play nice in the sandbox regarding motions and actually responding to discovery and responding to motions appropriately and on time, I don't think we're going to be going to trial in October. I mean, what is it today? August 10th? That's
I think they were saying, they were saying October 9th. I want to say, so yeah, we're right there at 2 months perfectly. So yeah, that's not
there's no way, man. There's no way.
Real quick before it gets away from me, I do want to show this right here. Disney Nerd 85 has been a member here at Publicly Buzzed for 2 months now. Whoop whoop, milestone member chat. And hold on, let me hit you with a little bit of an anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary! It's anniversary!
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. 2 months. That's insane. How quick does it go by? And I see the chat is filling up here also. Shelly, Stevie Irwin. Now, Stevie Irwin, holy shit, you outdid yourself with this thumbnail here tonight.
Holy look at Lisa. She dressed for the occasion.
I tried matching the thumbnail, and don't get me wrong, I like went deep into the closet for like my fall wardrobe, but I broke out, if you can't see, I broke out the short plaid fleece. I'm in full blown like a pajama set, and I even did break out, I kicked my foot on the desk, but I did break out slippers.
Oh, nice.
Full on. She is 100% committed. Stevie, look what you did, man. And again, Stevie is an absolute amazing graphic designer. Like the stuff he's been putting out, and I've already told him, if this starts taking off and I ever get any money, I'm hiring this man. He's amazing. He blows my mind. And
very good.
And also beers in chat. I forgot to mention that. Beers for Disney Nerd. Yeah, one thing I wanted to, two things that majorly that we're going to touch on here tonight is not only the new thing that's just coming out with Leah Larkin, but also the actual alibi or the lack thereof alibi. So yeah, what's your now? That was last week, I believe, when that came out. Let me look at the date on that one. Yeah, August. That was on your birthday, Dan. August 2nd when that one came out.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came
did
out,
it just for him.
yeah, they're like, got to get one out here for Dan. But when this one came out, did you get a chance to read that one, Lisa?
Yeah, and it's a total crock of shit. I mean, it's going ahead and saying he was driving around. I mean,
he had a habit.
Around.
He had a habit now.
He had a habit now. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Like, when I was living at home with my parents and I just got my license and it was senior year of high school, or I was coming home from college over the summer, like, yeah, we would drive around because things would be closed and there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. But I'm not going to be driving around someone's house repeatedly over and over. I mean, I distinctively remember one time I was in a car with one of my friends, and where I lived, like my parents' house growing up, it was in like a weird subsection. There was only one way in, one way out. It was a giant circle and then an inner circle with some side streets. So like we were pulled over on one of the side streets, literally just having a conversation, and a cop rolls up behind us, lights us up, gets like, one cop comes to the passenger side to me, another one comes to my friend on the driver's side and was like, license and registration, and asked me for my license. And I'm like, why are you doing this? They're like, oh, you're just sitting here in the neighborhood, it looks suspicious and we need to make sure you're not up to anything. And I looked at both cops, and of course, because I have zero consideration, I just listed everyone that I know that works in that precinct, and then told them my dad was on the job as a volunteer and that I lived down the block. So like, obviously I had a reason to be there. I just didn't feel like going home. But to go ahead and say that he's just aimlessly driving around, like you have it up here, the affidavit, he's a long habit of going for drives alone. Well, how long of a habit is this? Number one. Number two, often he would go for drives. Well, why on this night? Like, so I'm Jewish, fun fact, and we have this thing on Passover called Manish Shana Halayla Hazeh, meaning why is this night different than any other night? The affidavit states he would often go out. So like, why would he go out this night versus any other night? Like, what does he typically do in lieu of driving around? Like, what made him drive around? Right. So that's the first thing I think of when I look at this. And second of all, how the hell else would he get to the crime scene?
Right, yeah.
He's got to drive.
He's going to be driving, yeah. And that kind of leads us to, I think we've talked about this on here before, it kind of leads us to believe that Ann Taylor and the defense, they have 51 terabytes to go through, but they've probably seen that they have placed this guy in that car at least. So they have to at least put him in the car now. Because you know that at some point along the way, whether it's through housing or businesses, along the way, they've caught this, who knows how well you can see inside that car, but it seems like, at least with this, that they have to put him in the car that night. They have to, at least.
And they have to say something. Like, I mean, he has to say that he was somewhere other than the house. Where was he? Was he in bed sleeping? Was he out driving around? Whatever. So they went with the drive around. I think is what you're saying is, they kind of got him on camera driving somewhere, whether it's at the house. He's the white Hyundai Elantra at the house or not. They have a white Hyundai Elantra driving around, and it's probably him, right? And then so they have to give some explanation for where he could have been. They can't just say nothing. They can't give no explanation at all where he is besides the murder house.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And
Davey, come here.
And they have to. Oh yeah, and also Lisa is the dog. What is the dog's name, first of all?
So I will do show and tell because everyone likes shiny things. This is Harley. He's a 14-year-old Maltipoo. He's quiet as shit now that I'm going to be feeding him carrots and dipped in pumpkin. So
oh my God.
You get a carrot. I'm going to be like Oprah. You get a carrot. And then this one
Number two.
Come here, little monster. Number two, this is Davidson. Oh, don't you growl.
Davidson's getting a little, he growled at us.
Yeah, because he's
like, just the carrot, lady. Just the carrot.
Here you go, Oprah. You get a carrot. And apparently you don't want this now. Well, TS, tough shit. Eat the carrot and shut up. There we go. Sorry, I'm back.
No, man, we love dogs here. Dogs are my favorite. I have kitties as well, but yeah, dogs are always my entire life. I've basically had a dog, man. Yeah, okay, Jay, stop scaring the dogs. I did not scare that dog.
I like dogs more than humans. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be 100% with you. Any dog I've ever had, if they don't like the person that's coming to my house, I trust it. I mean, that has always been real. And then if somebody, usually that person ends up being shit along the way. Like, honest to God, like that dog knew, like they can read a person well.
That's why I'm 36, single with no kids.
You're like, this dog fucking knows.
Forget having a polygraph instrument and being a private investigator. My dogs are usually my filter.
Well, I bet that does maybe scare some men, right? The polygraph thing. You're like, wait a minute.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's not exactly first date material. So I usually let it out like when I'm in that whole like getting to know you phase. I'm like, let's exchange contact info. So it's like you exchange contact info and I'm like, dude, do me a favor, just Google me, check my credentials. Like if you're cool with it and you can pass a background check, then we can go to
background check.
But if you can't pass a background check, then we're gonna cut this off here.
I bet a bunch probably don't go all the way. Like, all right, shit, fuck, I'm screwed.
Dude, it's like 1 out of 10 that make it past.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa is coming through with an even bigger celebration here. 3 months.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
What the hell is happening?
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary! It's anniversary!
Thank you so much, Teresa. And then I see down here, just real quick, let me hit it before I miss it. Dara is coming through with gifting out 5 memberships. Who got these son of a bitches? Floozy, Todd, Who Dat Clement. See if I can name all these people without fucking up their names. Say No to Globalism.
Oh, Say No to Globalism's the one who was looking for a gift. What was that, last night?
No, that's right.
Or was that Tuesday?
Boom.
Yeah, last night I think.
At one of the, I think it was the Kemper stream. Yes. So yes.
No, it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Yeah.
Welcome to membership, and then Ember Burns. Welcome, guys. Everybody, pass out the beers in chat. Really appreciate it. Dara, can I says, can I send my ex-husband to your house so your dogs can attack him?
All right.
Okay. We're gonna get a mauling live here on Publicly Buzzed Live. Wow. But yeah, man, like at the end of the day on Bryan Kohberger, like I want it to go to court. I want to see everything laid out. I want to see what the state has. And I will say this, like it seems like there's a little bit of a game being played on both sides. Like I don't, because to Bob Motta's point, if they were to actually be able to release the IGG material like the defense wants, they could redact all that material, right? Like all the names that they're saying is sensitive, that's the reason they don't want to actually do it. So, I mean, like at the end of the day, I feel like the judge is going to give it to the defense, right? Do you feel like that, or are they not going to get that at all?
I think that at this point, everyone just needs to put their egos aside and they need to get their shit together. Realistically, they can turn over the information as long as it's redacted. I mean, it also doesn't have to be redacted, but I think just for privacy of just other family members, because it's not just his parents that would be showing up on the genealogy website.
Right.
He's going to have cousins up to the 6th degree. I mean, I know when I did my 23andMe, I've got cousins coming up like past six cousins, and I barely know my second cousin, so I don't really, no offense to my family out there, I don't give a shit. Yeah. So, but just for privacy, like you gotta protect everyone at some cost.
And I do kind of also get that because this is such a high profile, insane viral case. If that leaks out, everyone's going to know. I mean, look at the psychos on YouTube. I'm not one of those psychos, but there are psychos out here that would go literally to probably his second cousin's house to get an interview about what he did in 3rd grade. Like 100%. People are absolutely out of their minds. So I do also get that side of it to protect these folks.
Well, I think also then those people, like let's say they're the 5th and 6th cousin that had no idea they were even related, they're going to get shit on and be like, oh, your name's out there, you're related to this asshole, like, and they're going to deal with issues possibly with their employment, with their own family, things like that. And that's definitely, we want to go ahead and protect everyone to a degree that we can.
100%. Yep. We've seen that with, let me move that up just a little bit. We've seen that with his sister. Yeah, sister, I think she lost her job. And then just the endless scrutiny from the media, of course. I mean, that's happening right now with Rex's family as well. But with Coburger's mom and dad immediately after that was fucking sad as shit. Like, I hate to see that. Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, the family, when you're dealing with anyone that commits a crime, but especially a serial killer, I think a lot of people forget is that they are the ones that are committing the crime. They are the ones that are responsible for it. Everyone else that is tied to them is collateral damage. They're not there. They don't, I mean, Kohberger's parents, I mean, we don't know if they actually knew what was going on, but using Rex as an example, just taking a look at the wife's face. I mean, it would shock the shit out of me if she actually knew what was going on. And then she deserves an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Tony, and the full trifecta
100%.
for being a good actress.
Yeah. She is distraught and shattered. And yeah, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. Dude. There's no way. So
she wouldn't be out on the front porch like that. No, dude. Like, yeah.
No.
Knowing that the cameras are right in her face. Like, that's that. And then I guess that, I've been seeing on Twitter, everybody's getting these. We're kind of going down the Rex side here for things right now, but I mean, they're getting these interviews. Are they really interviews if they're shouting from the porch at you? Like, that's what's. I think they actually did give an interview to someone. I'm not sure who got it, but some of the videos I saw, they're just screaming at these folks. I'm like, what the hell? And then they're writing stories from just them hanging out on the sidewalk, screaming questions, and then they're saying, "We spoke to his wife." You didn't speak to his fucking wife. You screamed at her while she said, "Fuck off."
And she told you to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like that shit was grossing me out, which I think she has actually talked to the media now, but.
Yeah, she's talked to the media now. She's done a couple of interviews. My favorite is when you've got these reporters that are setting up in front of the house. And by in front of the house, I mean like 50 feet from the curb and like screaming across the front lawn, calling them interviews, but it's really just like, hey, I'm here to harass her and see what she says. But then like how pissed off and aggravated she is. She's like, you already know that I can't answer this, or this was answered at the press conference, or I'm not talking about my children.
Yeah,
like, you don't bring up someone's child. I don't care if they're grown adults. Like, they are still your child. They could be 50, 70, 90, 10, 2 months. I don't give a shit. Your child is your child. If she has an issue with her husband, don't fucking bring the kids into this. Like, leave them alone, and that's it.
100%. Yeah, man. And that's
boundaries need to be respected, and they are not.
Yeah, they never are. And yeah, what happened to we were watching that live. Jay was out there during a press conference, and then immediately after, we're actually taken over with the media. And then they were being told anybody that actually gets caught here is going to be fined. I guess some of the bigger stations can probably pay that fine with no problem, because it's probably a small fine. So they probably
don't even give a shit, Shannon said that that was only for the public. Media was still allowed to go there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. And being on a public street, honestly, that's probably still bullshit. I mean, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying you could stop and lurk, but if you're just kind of driving by or hanging out. But again, yeah, the media is actually going to be propped up on the sidewalk, again, yelling questions. It's insane.
Well, I spoke with a source last night that was actually a neighbor of his. And he advised, and he lived about like within 4 houses. I'm not saying
his name wasn't Ted, was it?
No,
his name wasn't Ted, was it?
No, was not Ted. Didn't look like a Ted. And you know what? It's so funny because I was talking to him and I was going to ask him, is his name Ted? But then I was like, because my mouth would have just been like, fuck you, Ted. But right. I mean, I did walk out of the room and I did say deuces. And he looked at me like cockeyed, like, huh? But I just left the room. But he told me that there was crime scene tape for like a 2-block radius. And even with him living there, he would have to show his ID to go park in his own driveway. And if he didn't want to deal with the cops or anything, he would park his car blocks away and just like walk into his house and then like go back and get his car later, because it's an absolute shit show. But he said that it's died down as of like 2 weeks ago. I mean, people are still coming and going, but even though right now there's still police in the area keeping an eye on everything.
That's crazy. Yeah, and it's I guess it's kind of winding down a little bit with the complete shit show, but I would hate to live on that street, man. I would hate to have to deal with which, at the beginning it's totally understandable, but at a certain point, which after what was it, 2 weeks they were at the house? Maybe a little longer, something like that. You got to be like, come on, I got to get to work. I got to get to my whatever. But I don't know. And then also
so
I know
sorry, go ahead, Lisa. I was going to say go ahead. No, go for it.
I was going to go into, I'm going to get you hyped up. I was going to go into Leah Larkin here, the new stuff with that literally just came out yesterday on the Bryan Kohberger genealogy stuff. So, oh shit, hold on, wrong one. Bam.
Bam.
There we go. So yeah, this lady is a botanist.
So she likes to play in the dirt. I mean, I'm not one of those experts that like to go on and kind of shit on others, but I do enjoy discussing qualifications of other experts just to show the fact of we are considered to be experts in certain fields for certain reasons. And in this situation, we can take a look here at the affidavit that was filed. So this is her affidavit explaining her experience. As an expert myself, I have concerns with, pretty much a couple of things. Number one, line 2 states that she's been engaged as an expert. It really should be I've been retained, not I've engaged, because engaged means the fact that she's been communicating regarding this case. She's aware of the case, but retained is the appropriate word, showing the fact that she's been hired as an expert on this matter. So choice of language, we don't know if she's even going to be retained. She could have just gone ahead and just been, again, having dialogue, but not necessarily working as their expert. And this, again, is only since July 27th, 2023, which if I look at my handy dandy calendar over here, like Blue's Clues, the 27th is exactly 2 weeks from today. So it's 2 weeks ago today that she is formally stating the fact that she's been engaged in this. Could she just be engaged in this lately only because she's been going ahead and filing it was the motion to compel. It's the third go around. So could there be a delay for that? Absolutely. What's considered to be paragraph when you're dealing with law documents, it's paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. So paragraph 3 says, I'm a genetic genealogist having practiced genetic genealogy since 2014. Educational background is a bachelor's degree in biology and a PhD in botany. Well, just because you have a bachelor's degree in biology and a PhD in botany doesn't necessarily mean that you're qualified in genealogy. Bio is bio, botany is playing with plants in the backyard. I mean, I don't want to downplay it, but there is a lot behind botany. There is similarities pertaining to genealogy and botany, because if you go back to the studies pertaining to Mendel and the cross-pollination of plants and figuring out chromosomes, there is a side-by-side. CH, I see your comment here. It's not particularly well written. I agree with you 100%. I think the document is very weird. It's just going ahead and laying out textual data, which is considered to be online. It's straight from a textbook. So that's what my concern is regarding it. I do think that there could be possible other experts that are more qualified to discuss this. I'm not going to screw it. I'm already throwing people under the bus. I wasn't going to, but I am now. Deuces, YOLO.
Fuck you,
Screw
Ted.
this shit.
Fuck you, Ted.
Fuck you,
I'm
Leia.
not like saying fuck you. No, I didn't say that one.
I
But
said
I'm
that,
just
sorry.
saying,
I'll take the heat on that.
yeah. Okay, you go for it. So, deuces, YOLO. I don't give a shit. That's my thing now. So, comparatively, there are experts and there are other labs out there. We have to also discuss Otherman, how it's already come out stating the fact that they are the ones that did the ID for the chief. So they obviously can't be represented as an expert in that capacity because they acted on behalf of the state for the prosecution. So they can't hire Othram to go ahead and do defense work. The only other place and the only other way that they can go about this realistically for a lab that is relatively comparable would be Parabon. I know that we talked to guys about, we're kind of bouncing around here, but Parabon does have a case in the past couple of years that led to a wrongful conviction using IgG.
Oh man.
So that is a negative fault. Some of their researchers and genealogists are not formally educated. I get the fact that it turns into a situation where individuals are adopted. They want to go ahead and seek their birth parents. They want answers maybe pertaining to medical histories, family relatives, siblings, stuff like that. I get it 100%. I see it as a private investigator, but I also see it as myself as an individual that's adopted. So I get why people want to go ahead and do the 23andMe and they want to go ahead and reach out and things like that. I just feel that there has to be someone or something pertaining to a lab that is just as credible as Othram to go ahead and help the defense. And I do not think that Leah is the right expert.
Yeah. And then, kind of reading through this, which I read through this last night. I know Dan got into this last night as well, and he was kind of talking on Twitter about it.
And what's funny, before tonight, like I read through this, taking like I didn't have we were talking about this before we went on air. Like I didn't look into her credentials to see how qualified she was. I was just taking the word for it, and it all sounded good to me. Like it all, because I'm not a fucking genetic genealogist. I don't understand this stuff.
Yeah.
So the words are thrown at me, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I can kind of hear it and understand what she's going for and where she's coming from and stuff, and just taking her word for it. But I mean, and you bring up a good point that if she's not really an expert per se in the subject, then it kind of changes things a little bit.
Watching trials, the first thing, as soon as an expert gets put on the stand, they're telling you exactly why they are an expert. So,
and it sounds like and maybe that's why, and you brought up the wording there, maybe this is why she's not using that wording. Maybe she's not actually going to be the expert they use as an expert witness, because she doesn't have those credentials. But
maybe that's why she just said engaged.
It could be. I mean, it's choice of language, but like I had a chance to breeze through her website, and I see that her endorsements are not from general. I mean, it's not from like law firms or state attorneys' offices, and it's not from like reputable cases, experience. I'm trying to look for the right word, and I don't want to like shit on people, but like it's the general public that is reaching out for her, asking her to do biological research pertaining to adoptions. And again, I gave you my story. I completely understand why. But if you scroll into media, Harley, shut up. You're being annoying.
I'm on her site now.
Her site doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
I got you.
No, it does. Now. So if you take a look here at TV, lead genealogist had taken at birth on TLC and consulting genealogist on I Should Have Known. So consulting genealogist, meaning the fact that she just had a consulting role, she wasn't on camera, didn't have anything. Now, radio, she's got one radio appearance, and again, newspapers, nothing since 2019. So
but being a lead genealogist, she has to be performing like these. She has to kind of know her way around these tests and how this stuff works, right?
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, I'm looking at the show right now, and I just clicked the TLC logo.
Sleuthie says she's on the Association of Professional Genealogists website.
Yeah, and I'm on the Association for the American Polygraph Association. I'm on the board of directors. But it comes down to quality and training, and it comes down to credentials and experience. I know, like, in my field, we have, like, annual awards, and there's, like, the award for, like, a newcomer. But you need to have 10 years of experience doing this. She doesn't have that experience as an expert to go ahead and to be doing what she's doing. I mean, if I was defense counsel, I would not be retaining her. I want someone with more experience, because she's only been doing this since 2014. It's been 9 years.
9 years. Yeah, usually when you hear an expert come up, again, mentioning the trials and what we see often, it's usually like it's usually like 30 years. I mean,
yeah.
It's usually...
She is doing it in mainstream media, though, which probably helps her get... That's why she's being recognized by, Ann Taylor, for example, or whoever's finding these experts. She's in mainstream media doing this work, so her name is probably one of the first ones that pops up, right?
Well, I don't think that's the reason why she got picked up. And I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this one.
Okay, yeah.
So I did my own little dumpster diving, as I like to call it. And there was a genetic genealogist that went ahead and did some Facebook posts. And she was, I guess, observed liking these Facebook posts from a genetic genealogist. And the genetic genealogist is going ahead and reporting, and I'll quote it directly: "The more that the defense resists handing over the genetic genealogy information in discovery, the more I worry about that they're trying to hide something. Have the FBI once again been using the MyHeritage database in contravention of the DOJ policy and the company's terms of service?" So someone else posted that, and she went ahead and she liked that status. It then continued into an additional dialogue where she had written and it's quoted by her name wasn't masked out. Her job title is genetic genealogist, educator, DNA tool developer. Whatever tool developer is, I have no clue. By revealing that FGG was used, law enforcement opens the case to constitutional changes. We should all be afraid of why they want to avoid that. And then continued with, I certainly hope the defense demands the FGG records as part of the discovery and that the names of genetic witnesses are redacted. And that's what we talked about before. So these comments are discoverable on the internet. Possibly, is it why they've chosen her to be engaged in the matter? We don't know. But she's been out openly supporting the IGG in this whole process since. So that could be very much a reason why.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
That definitely plays a part.
That's some
for sure.
deep online sleuth in there too, Lisa.
They're not. Yeah, they're not going to retain somebody who, you know, is on the prosecution side, like is biased in some way, right? Which, I mean, if they are biased, they want the bias on their side, on the defense side.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
And Stevie, I got to go get a beer. So real quick, call out Holly Berry.
I was literally about to say I was going to pay some bills. Okay, let me go through the chat here real quick. Shelly, first of all, Shelly Tarbett, thank you so much for becoming a member. Everybody, I think the beers have already been passed out, but let me hit some buttons for you real quick. First of all, welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party.
And while you do that, I'm taking off clothes. I am officially melting.
Yeah, that thing's probably burning you up, Lisa.
Give me the
Dogs radiating heat.
And then, yes, Holly Berry, what have you done, girl? What are you doing out here? I think she's gifting memberships. Let me find it. Yes, who got these bad boys? Let's see. Oh, shit, Defense Diaries. Bob Botta just got one. Sleuthy Goosey just got one. Chaos just got one. JD and Unravel. Hell yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Pass out them beers.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And all new members, just real quick, if you are a member here once a month, you get one stream that is strictly membership. One of our regular streams, it's either probably going to be a Tuesday or a Thursday stream, but you know, you get that absolutely just for you. I call you guys producers of this content and this show, and I can't, you know, appreciate the hell out of you guys. Let me make sure I'm not missing any more just real quick. Yeah, there we go. Beers in the chat. Thank you all so much. Bob, what you doing? Thank you for being in here, sir. Appreciate it. Saw Carrie Rawson in here also. Got a full house. Thank you all so much.
Carrie?
Was you hanging out with Carrie in real life?
Yeah, Carrie and I hung out in New York City yesterday, IRL.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I saw her Twitter feed. She was, when she showed up in New York. That's really cool.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thank you all for being here. And anybody that is just, randomly hanging out, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Lisa is going to be coming back. We have a Feral Friday date in the future planned, and we're going to be having her on here for a strictly polygraph conversation. And I'm fucking stoked about that because ever since I really just kind of went down the rabbit hole of reading about this since we started corresponding. I was like, man, this is a really cool job. And I can't wait to kind of, pick your brain, get some cool stories, and just talk about polygraphs in general. Now, to the Bryan Kohberger side, if you had the opportunity and chance to give Bryan Kohberger a polygraph, how do you, I don't even know how to really word this. How do you feel that would go? How do you feel that would, because I asked you the question before we came on the air, if you could kind of get the vibe, if you can kind of feel, even you would say you're reading the math on the instrument, but, if you could get the vibe of if they're telling the truth or not, and you kind of feel like you probably can most of the time, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to call myself a walking bullshit detector with two legs, because I have so much training, everything from using an actual instrument to going ahead and understanding speech and micro expressions and body language and choice of verbiage. It's just I'm like a well-oiled machine, and I've kind of gotten to a point where I do have a light switch and I can turn it off, which is great, so it doesn't affect my personal life. But in his situation, I mean, I would offer services pro bono just to give him the test, just so not necessarily I can say that I did it, but I just want the facts. Like,
right.
Just because it looks like a duck, walks like a duck. I mean, this is like investigator foreplay to me. Because I've done some pretty heavy cases previously in the past, and we're going to go into that on Feral Friday, which you guys really need to tune in for that, because I know it's going to be 10:30. But realistically for me, it's going to be 7:30, and I'm actually going to be in Las Vegas at a polygraph conference. So Vegas, already in a polygraph conference, and a little bit of alcohol is going to make it a really great time. So guys, please come hang out with us.
That one's going to be fun, guys.
Oh, it's going to be great. But going back to a potential exam for Bryan, there's so much that's out there. I mean, the the affidavits, the research, the geofencing, the GPS triangulation, the cell phone records, the cameras, the license plate, pulling the cameras from the university. I mean, it's going to be so hard to just continue it as him just being alleged. But at this point, he is afforded the right to a trial. He is afforded the opportunity for defense. And that's something that we can't take away. As an examiner, I am hired to do defense work. I am hired to work for prosecutors. I am hired to work for ADAs. I mean, it's just, what would I do? I would firstly, I mean, the main relevant question that I would ask him is, are you responsible for causing the death of any of those individuals? That's the main question that I would ask him. Yeah. And I wouldn't break it out for specific individuals. I would ask him as a whole and do that as a one question relevant test, because then what can happen from there is if he fails that question, well, there's no other questions, but here's the thing though, because of my choice of language of any of them, I can run what's referred to as a peak of tension test, which is, okay, are you responsible for the death of A? Are you responsible for the death of B? And I can see where he hits and what it is. And that's sometimes what we use in criminal investigations when we have suspects for a crime, but we know as law enforcement and investigators what the murder weapon is. And so we'll bring in a suspect and be like, okay, was the cause of death due to this object? And if they hit on the murder weapon, then we know they're indirectly responsible, whether they participated in the crime, they caused the death directly. So there's different aspects of polygraphs, and obviously we're going to go into that on Feral Friday, of different ways that we can use the polygraph. But Bryan will never sit for an exam. Absolutely not. His counsel is way too smart to have him subject to that.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. And I would love. Do you think that they have given him one?
I doubt it.
Okay, that's interesting.
I 100% doubt it. Yeah.
And is that something like in this case, so I guess the state would ask for that, and then the defense would try to fight it?
So there's one or two ways that can happen. Oh, you're being a pain. Come here. Come sit on my lap. So what's going to happen is one of two things. I have defense clients. It's a defense counsel that sometimes goes ahead and hires me to go ahead and run an exam on their own client because something just doesn't sound right. Meaning the narrative that they're telling, but they need to properly prepare themselves to represent their client in court. And so they want their client to go ahead and take a test. Obviously, again, the purpose is to go ahead and figure out whether or not their client actually did what they're being accused of. And then from there, what transpires is the opposite side, where sometimes they will be taking the test for part of the defense counsel and whether or not it could be entered into evidence. Because there's admissibility laws, and we're not going to go into that now. We're going to save that for Feral Friday.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people will take a test with me, and if they pass, then they'll take one for the prosecutor. So it's a tiered effect, but it really just comes down to just different factors. But again, we're going to go into all of that on Feral Friday.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a good one, folks. Yeah, and again, I've always been intrigued, and you've always kind of been, like a lie detector test, right? But like really kind of reading about them, there's a lot of different opinions out there about them as well. People think that they're kind of evil, right? They think that, because I mean, I guess that, and we were talking about this beforehand, you're kind of already like watching in real time somebody trying to beat this test. So say somebody's trying to prepare mentally, you could probably in real time see what's going on. Because I mean, to prepare for this, you're going to have to show some kind of physical, because what you're going to be thinking of, if you're trying to say you're trying to answer the question in a certain way, you're either going to be thinking of a happy thought or a negative thought, essentially, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to control your breathing.
You're going to, well, the thing is that I'm going to call them assholes. Assholes come into my office and they're going to go ahead and try and beat the test. Because there's this whole idea, can you beat a polygraph test?
Right.
Here's the kicker. Number one, you can't beat the box. You can't beat the instrument, but you could beat the examiner. And that's what I tell absolutely everyone since day one. If you're going to go into an office, take a test with an examiner that is not formally trained on countermeasures, on what to look for, what are the physiological changes, what are the different types of ways that people try and beat the test, then you're going to get the wool pulled over your eyes. But if you have someone that is up to date with their training and their credentials, their licensing, if they're in a licensing state, because not every state requires licensing or a certification, then you've got a better opportunity to go ahead and pull the wool over. But what you're doing when you're taking a test and trying to beat it is you're trying to control your autonomic nervous system. You're trying to control something that you have no control over.
Right.
So if you're trying to manipulate your breathing, I'm going to see that and I'm going to know, hey, dickhead, knock it off. Like, that's not normal breathing.
And you don't know
if I'm going to,
and they don't know what question's coming anyways. So I mean, they're already trying to prepare probably in real time for the big question, right?
Well, what happens is that they take an acquaintance test. And I don't tell them it's an acquaintance test. I'm like, oh, you're going to take a practice test. It's going to get you comfortable with being attached to the instrument. It's going to get used to you hearing the questions, timing, spacing, things like that. But I'm asking them questions that are true, and I'm also asking a lie, just so I can get baseline readings. So before I even give the test, I know how they physiologically respond. And then they take the test 3 to 4 times about the topic. So if Tom, Dick, or Harry are being accused of cheating on Angela, Kelly, or Michelle, whatever their names are for infidelities or any case, then at that point, what's going to happen is they're going to take that test 3 to 4 times. So I have multiple sets of data. And it's not like you take 2 tests and you fail 1 or you pass 1, fail 2. It's all conclusive because your reactions don't change. What does change in the polygraph cycle of charts is the position where I put the question. I mix them up every single time. So it's not like you can go ahead and plan ahead and be like, oh, question 4, let me squeeze my ass and that way I can cause a reaction. It doesn't work that way because they don't know really what to expect. I tell them, listen, the questions are going to get mixed up. That way I can go ahead when I have the data, I can see that you passed the question no matter where I put it in the test. So they are given a heads up. It's just whether or not they choose to try and employ those countermeasures every single time.
So like, and again, I'm sorry to get, I'm so interested in this, but like, and I want to say,
I know, I feel bad,
like
we're here for Idaho, and I'm like, oh.
But like at the same time, like.
I always thought they were pretty beatable though. I mean, basically based on they're inadmissible in most states, right? So I thought they must be beatable or they must not be reliable for that reason alone.
So.
But I never did a deep dive in it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Screw you too. Deuces, YOLO, screw everyone. I'm not answering that question. We're going to save it for Farrell.
Okay, yes.
Right, yes. We need to save some of this.
I know, I'm getting too far ahead of myself because I am really intrigued in this. Well, hell, I mean, you're also a private investigator, though.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I mean,
and you know what? I use the polygraph as an investigative tool where I get it. I mean, that's how I got started. So as I mentioned before, so like my dad is like De Niro. Like I grew up thinking my dad was the shit, James Bond, private investigator. Like I used to get the whole like in 2nd and 3rd grade. It's like, oh, it's the, what is it, kindergarten cop with Schwarzenegger. It's like, my dad's a lawyer, my dad's a doctor, like my dad's a gynecologist. And for me, I was like, oh yeah, no, my dad's a private investigator. And I'd be like, ew, he looks at privates. No, dickhead, my dad's James Bond. He's like the coolest shit in the world. Like I would get so pumped up. Yeah, I'd get pumped up and he's like, hey, you want to go out in the surveillance van? And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. And like, even as a kid. So he's like teaching me techniques even growing up in like 4th and 5th grade. And I was like, oh, this is some cool shit.
Wow.
And
you guys have made it a family business. Like you have I guess it's your brother, I'm assuming, also involved.
Yeah, my younger brother's involved. He's here on Long Island with me. And so you know what? You're going to get drop kick, dog. Whatchamacallit. So he's involved in the investigation side. And then I handle investigations and polygraphs. And there are sometimes I even go out in the field to do surveillances. So there's pretty much a niche. Yep, is that the new one? Yeah, I think that's one of the websites. I'm like so blind right now.
I think this is...
Yeah, so that's my dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
For those of you that are daytime TV fans, I don't know if anyone ever caught the Steve Wilkos show, but my dad was the guy that came out on Wilkos and read the results and be like, you're full of shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, I read that earlier, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
he also
had
he
a
had his own
as
show,
well.
right?
Yeah, he had his own show over in Europe with Lifetime.
Yeah, Channel 4,
yeah, I mean,
right?
That's right, Channel 4.
I think so. But yeah, I mean, we've been in business. I grew up with him, and don't mind the horrible photo of me with blonde hair at that point. There's a whole different story where I'm no longer blonde, but that's for another day. And yeah, I mean, it turned into, at one point, my caseload became so significant, and I was doing investigations. And this is when like the priest started getting accused of molesting people in the church. And at one point, like my office was surrounded by it. I'm like, I'm like, first off, I'm a Jew. This is too many churches for me to walk into. Like I talk about one burns down. Like this is not going to work out. I can't even go into friends' weddings that are in a church without like saying a prayer beforehand and apologizing in advance. So I I had to figure out a way how to close all my cases. And then at that point, I decided, let me go to polygraph school. So I went to polygraph school, and I was able to then start going around polygraphing priests. That was awkward, let me tell you. But it allowed me to close my caseload a lot quicker because I used it as an investigative tool. And I still do it now, where I have insurance losses, jewelry robberies, motor vehicle accidents, financial thefts, business entity information, like issues, even sexual harassment claims in an office.
So people are agreeing to polygraph tests, like from
Yeah, you have
a private investigative standpoint, though.
Yeah.
Or
so,
like you're working on behalf of the state.
No, so I mean, I do it for all different capacities. I'll get like right now, like today, I went to Rikers and I was hired by an attorney, but I was appointed by the court to do so. Yeah. In September, I have to go to death row in Indiana to polygraph an inmate. I'm being hired by the Federal Defender Service, which is like the federal legal aid, to go do the exam. But then there are some times where DA's offices or the prosecutor's offices don't have examiners. They'll hire me to come into their office and do a test. So, I mean, I get it at all ends, but I really, really want to get back to Idaho because I feel so much of a type of way. And I love you both for going on a tangent and appreciating my ADHD, but like, I so want to save all of this for Farrell. You have no idea.
Yeah, no, you're right. We do need to save it.
We will have I mean, Farrell's going to be amazing. Again, that's August 25th, guys. Hell, that was just a teaser. That's all that was right there.
Oh, that was just the tip.
That's a little. Yeah,
that's just the tip. That's just the tip. Yeah. If you're interested in that, make sure you're here on August 25th.
Right now in the chat, if anybody has any questions for Lisa, pop those up and yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna scroll through it quickly. I want to see like what's going on here.
And
I finally figured out how the chat works because I was scrolling the wrong way and I was like, shit, wrong way.
And let me see.
Well, real quick to go back to the alibi. So now that they've said that he was driving around and they said he has a history of driving around, now they have to prove that they have to prove the history, right? So we know that the law enforcement has 12 days worth of history of him driving around the area. I would think they would want to go back even further than that, right? So are they going to be able to prove a farther history of him driving around at that hour?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, it goes back to what I said before about the alibi. I mean, they'd have to go back into GPS records of the car itself if the car has those capabilities. I mean, we know it said, what was it, an Elantra? But
yeah, 2015. I'm not sure if they have it or not.
Listen, I still have the plastic screen on like my Jeep. And my lease is up next month, and I still haven't taken off the plastic to touch the screen to change the stations. Yeah. So I don't know jack shit about cars. I don't know anything about these GPS things, so I don't know how far they go back. But
I would almost bet a 2015 wouldn't have that, though. That became pretty common in 2018, but I think 2015 might be a little early.
Yeah, so depending upon the specs and features, I mean, also, they'd have to go back and possibly check with the dealer. Like, did he buy the car? Was it leased? His phone, absolutely, unless he changed cell phones, changed cell phone numbers. So there's a lot of heavy lifting, which is why we agreed before. There's no way in hell this is going to trial in October.
No way.
No way.
No way.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be getting changed.
Yeah.
Let me look here. Oh, hold on. Gail's gifting out a membership. Is it Eva versus Life? They got that one?
Yeah, it looks like Eva versus Life. Yeah.
Eva, welcome. Give her some beers, everybody.
There was a comment that came across before, and I like quickly saw it, and like I know it was for me, and I don't remember who it was or where it was.
Stevie Irwin just popped one out that I saw way earlier, and it was from Dara. Or sorry, I just fucked her name up. God, I'm pulling a Stevie. Dara.
Dara like Sarah, you motherfucker.
But she said, why did the genetic expert have to specify they were an adult over 18?
It has to do with just an affirmation. Like I do it also. Like I'm not a party to the action, meaning I'm filing this independently. I'm not involved in the action. I'm not doing anything. I'm just here as an expert. So typically it's always done. It's standard protocol to put in 18 or older.
There you go.
That is a kind of a weird way of wording, right? I am an adult.
Yeah, for people who don't look at these documents, I'm sure it's like what? And I just, when I read it, it seemed weird to me, but I just assumed it's, standard procedure.
Yeah, no, that part definitely is standard procedure.
Here, just real quick.
Oh, the other one is.
You warned us too.
Mandy says 2015 was the last year they didn't have stock GPS. Black box only, no standard GPS.
Because I know I was shopping for cars recently, and like I was trying to find an older car, but I wanted like a full infotainment center with all the bells and whistles, and it was hard for me to find a good one with earlier than 2018. So that's what I was basing my 2018 statement off of. But I know for a fact you can get vehicles, prior to that with GPS. It's just I think they were less common.
Yeah, I've got no clue. Again, I know how to get from point A to point B. I know how to put my seatbelt on and go from drive to reverse and park. And that's me.
It. I know shit about cars. Yeah.
Yeah, but you mentioned you haven't even peeled the peel off of your little infotainment center, dude. I used the shit out of that thing.
I haven't even peeled the sticker, but there's one worse. On the passenger side, they have that little tag that they put into the glove box that hangs out about the airbag. Right. That's also still in the car.
Like leaving that.
Keep it pristine. I haven't peeled off. So the back door handles had plastic on my car, and I never took those off.
So first of all, hold on. Let me show off my shirt.
Oh yeah, shaming of Jay.
Pop the link in chat, Mandy. Pop the link in chat.
The Shaming of Jay on YouTube and Twitter.
Real quick, while we're actually here still live, Jay, do you have your link up for tomorrow? I'll go ahead and make sure I set a portal up here. I want to make sure all these fine folks get over to you, my friend. Let me see here. I'm going to look now. He does. Boom. I'm setting up a portal now, Jay. So, hell yeah. So, folks, when you guys leave here, you will be portaling. You'll be sent straight over to Jay's stream for in the morning. So I just want to make sure I got that in there. But yeah, make sure you're following Jay, man. Jay is amazing. Whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube, he streams every single day. He's out here banging out cases, banging out trials. He's awesome, man. And again, everybody that's come through here tonight, thank you all so much. We had a full house. Anytime that we go into Idaho stuff, it gets a little bit wild. Everything seemed to be pretty chill tonight. Everybody was respectful.
Yeah.
You got to get one, Tabby.
Let me just see here. So, aspiring court reporter left me a comment. Do you have your machine at home? What is the school experience journey for that job? So I appreciate the comment. Get back to us on Feral. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, but we're not doing that right now because I want to maintain decorum and keep us all on track. So find us on the 25th.
Yes.
And I'd be happy to answer that question.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, guys. Make sure you're hanging out. Oh, here we go. Adam, I'm still in bed and half asleep, but couldn't wait till Sunday. I like the live shows. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. Now, Adam always watching from the UK, so it's probably like 3 in the morning there right now. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Now, right here, Holly got her bow shirt. Hell yeah. I don't know if I played it. I'm going to go ahead and give her special... Her little soundbite. There you go, Holly. Thank you so much for coming through here and being amazing every single time.
Shelly Torbett has a good question. What if someone's wasted for a polygraph?
You'll find out at Feral Friday.
Damn, yeah.
The suspense.
Dude, I love this actually. We're building this one up, dude. Feral Friday, August 25th is gonna be WrestleMania. Are you ready for this? Hold on.
Right.
Hold on, baby. I mean, we're gonna hit you with the epic. Here it goes. August 25th. It's going to be good.
Yeah. And I want to remind you guys, so we're talking, like, as you see, I'm very straightforward, very straight-laced, like, shoot from the hip, no
I love it.
Deuces, fucks given.
I love it.
So I'm going to be doing it live from Vegas, and I will be drinking during it. So that's really the great time to just let it go.
And yeah, when I reached out, and first I saw you on Jay's stream a couple weeks ago. Fucking awesome. I love the personality on there. Then when I reached out again, I was a little bit nervous asking you. I was like, man, I don't know how people are gonna feel about coming on this show, but thank you. And then when you asked, what's the vibe of the show, and I said pretty much anything goes, and you came back with fucking fantastic. I knew we were good. I pretty much right then was like, I think she's gonna be okay.
Oh yeah.
And then tonight, literally actually meeting you and talking to you, dude, like it's the great chemistry.
The vibe is there. Yeah, it works.
You got me.
I love it.
So, oh God, Carrie's comment, can someone polygraph Lisa? She's not straight-laced. Carrie, don't air out my dirty laundry.
Dude, I need to write these questions down. I need to write so many questions down that are popping in my head right now because they're already flowing because the conversation's there and we're trying to stop it.
That's the thing too. It's a super interesting subject, so it's easy to start flowing with it. Yeah.
As soon as I was like, honestly, I was going to maybe do the Gilgo case tonight, the Rex Heuermann case, just because I know that's what you're deep into. But then everything's been kind of popping up with the Idaho stuff, and I said, man, let's go into an Idaho case. And it's been a minute since we did an Idaho show, so. I always like to have an expert opinion on here going into the Bryan Kohberger stuff because, again, it's fucking insane. The case is so convoluted. It's wild.
I think it's past the point of like, why can't we all get along? But I think it's more in terms of this is why we can't have nice things.
Yep.
The bullshit, and I get it. Like, the prosecutor's there to do their job. Defense is there to do its job. But at the same time, like, I truly feel like we're forgetting about the justice for the victims, and everyone is more concerned about finding the alleged individual guilty. Because there is a difference between pursuing justice and advocacy versus the actual no hablo inglés, let's try that again, judicial process doing their job. And so I think there still is a disconnect. And look, I mean, it happens anytime in the media cycle. I mean, something comes up and then Trump does what he does and then he takes over the news cycle, or something happens and now there's fires in Hawaii and that takes over it. So because of the close timing of both of these huge high profile cases, not even just terms of the crimes that were committed, but the precedents that's going to be set in the legal and crime and law enforcement communities, that the cases are just overlapping and people are being forgotten about. And I do think that by us having this dialogue and having this conversation, it keeps the victims and the justice and advocacy for them and their memory and their name, more importantly, to the forefront.
100%. That's mostly what's important here, because we want justice for the families. That's what got us into this case. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what we want, and hopefully that's what we get. And it's just all the bullshit that we're having to deal with in the middle. But yeah, I think that all sides just kind of have to put that on the back burner. Let's come together and get this together, because at the end of the day, we've had these debates on here. We've had Bob Mata, an actual defense attorney, on here, and I've seen the debates online.
I know Bob.
Yeah,
Bob, are you still here?
Yeah, Bob, if you're still in here, say something in the chat, bud. But yeah, I've seen the debates online. Are they playing games? Are they trying to actually do some nefarious stuff on Bryan Kohberger's part? That's not happening. That can't be actually happening. So,
I mean, anything is possible. So we necessarily can't say, and we can't rule it out. I mean, we're not there. We're just we're the fish in the fishbowl.
You want to think that's not happening, I guess, is better for you.
Actually,
yeah, I would hope it's not happening, but I mean, there's so much shit going on in the world. I mean, I hate to bring Suffolk County into this again, but look at the 10 years of corruption before this case was finally solved.
That's a good point.
I hate to say that anything is possible, but anything is freaking possible.
There he is. He's still hanging out. Bob Mata's still hanging out.
And
Hi, Bob.
I meant to mention this earlier, and I forgot to mention it, but I'm actually kind of concerned at this moment that maybe they did do some shady shit with the IGG stuff. Maybe they uploaded the profile to a database that wasn't allowed, that didn't allow law enforcement to upload to. I don't know what, and I think Bob and lawyer has both said that may not actually matter. Like, maybe the judge could still allow it, but I'm kind of worried that maybe they violated some rights here and they created an issue. Because I do think they have the right guy, but if the law enforcement themselves fucked it up with the IGG stuff and violated someone's rights, then we have a problem, right? That's what I'm worried about currently.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, and which is why we were talking about Leah not being the ideal expert in her experience, but like, defense counsel can have a fucking field day and file motions. They can file a motion to quash the arrest. They can file a motion to quash the search warrant. I mean, those are just two. I mean, if you get a motion to quash the arrest, there goes your whole case. Yeah. File a motion to forget the arrest. I mean, even if they don't get the motion to quash the arrest, but they get the motion to quash the search warrant, you're done. Any evidence that you ascertained on that search warrant, you're done. So,
did they specifically? I don't think they used the IGG stuff on the PCA though. Right, they used the dad's DNA.
They didn't use that on the PCA, but so even with
So they wouldn't be able to quash that even if they found out they did something nefarious, right? Or not nefarious necessarily, but they uploaded to a database or a site that they weren't allowed to upload to.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be obviously complete legal ramifications for that, because of obviously the opting in for the law enforcement component when you do go ahead and upload your stuff. Right now, the judge, which I think is kind of funny, Judge Squared. I've been referring to them.
Yeah, Judge. Yeah.
I haven't heard Judge Squared. That's good.
It is good.
Judge Squared, as opposed to Judge. But he needs to hear from the experts. That's really what it comes down to. And that the experts need to prove why they are the way that they are. And I see Bob's thing here that, no, she's not playing games at all. She's doing her job and she's there to protect her client. I don't disagree with anything that she's doing. Don't
hate me, Bob. I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate there.
Yeah, no, she's there to do her job. She's doing it to the best of her ability, considering the circumstances. And again, this is another one of these cases that are being tried in the media instead of being tried in the courtroom.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, the entire time so far.
And that's something I've seen Bob mention on Twitter. Like, I mean, she would be wrong for not doing everything in her absolute power to, fight this stuff, because that's her job. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, back to it's at the end of the day, we want justice for the families, but we want the right guy too.
Also saw Bob said that's not right. I wonder if he's talking about what I said.
I mean, you always want the right guy. Last thing you want, I mean, there's been cases before where just wrongful conviction work, and I do a ton of the wrongful conviction work on the Investigator and Polygraph side, so I see the effects of what happens if people losing their life and being behind bars for so many years and then coming out and having to get reacclimated. It's horrible, but we have to make sure that, again, with the DNA, I'm looking here on my computer. I mean, there's the case here of a gentleman that was arrested in 2021 for 2 charges. I don't like saying the words pertaining to the cases, but significant enough against an 85-year-old victim. The victim it states that she was killed by an intruder, and then multiple things happened, and that scientists attempted to obtain a profile from the kit that was acquired at the autopsy, but the DNA profile was finally made from that sample. However, the sample was actually originally lost, and then they convicted the wrong person.
Yeah, those are the cases that are freaky as shit to read about.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, it leaves a hole for IgG and it leaves a hole for DNA, and like cases like this. Yes, it's one example that's currently out there with regards to FGG and IgG, but
well, and the reality is, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
The reality is the IgG stuff. The only thing that's important about the IgG stuff is, to me personally, is did they do something wrong to point them towards Coburger? The IgG stuff definitely didn't point them towards the wrong guy, because they already have the father's DNA linking to the sheaths, so they know it's him, right? The IgG stuff didn't tell them that it was him. It gave him a direction to go towards, and then they went and got some trash and they linked that way, right? And now at this point, they've gotten a backle swab and they've probably linked it that way as well. So they know that his DNA is what's on the sheath, right? So they're not necessarily finding the wrong guy based on the IgG, but did they do something wrong to get there? Right. Well,
yeah. Did they do something wrong to get there? And is by them doing the IgG a violation of rights?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a 2-tiered approach. It's how can they validate what they had done to go ahead and show proof and reason that everything was done within DOJ standards, and that this is done appropriately for chain of custody, collection, importing, documentation, everything across the board. While also not going ahead and doing the violation, like the violation of rights. I mean, there's constitutional amendments protecting stuff like this.
Exactly.
And it's such a clusterfuck of a situation. And again, this is literally of like the song of why can't we all just get along, or why can't we all have nice things?
Yeah.
Defense is doing what she is responsible for doing. That is what she is appointed for. She is there to do her job. The prosecutor is there to go ahead and do their job.
Yep.
So it's not like one is superior to the other. They just have both jobs and they both need to prepare for the same trial which again, I do not believe is happening in October.
Yeah. And if at the end of the day, if you are in a position where you need a good defense attorney, you want somebody that's going to fight tooth and nail for you. So, I mean, that's what she's doing.
Yeah,
so.
you don't. I know plenty of defense attorneys that if they were to like, comparatively, like if I know defense attorneys here on Long Island that if they were to take Rex's case, like they would not be able to hold their own. Like, no way. So, yeah.
Let me see here real quick. Just still looking through the chat. Yeah, Lisa, thank you so fucking much, though, man. This has been a great show.
Oh, of course. I'm off tomorrow. I'll hang out all night. I don't give a shit.
See, that's what, and I was explaining that earlier. That's why I can't wait to get you on for Feral Friday. Because sadly, yeah, we work during the week, Monday to Friday. But Feral Friday is it gets a little bit wilder. We can have it. Dan's probably drinking tonight. You drinking something tonight?
I am drinking tonight.
Dan's an alcoholic.
I do have to work tomorrow.
Dan drinks every night. What do you got? That ain't whoa, that's a different brew.
I've had these before. It's the Torpedo IPA.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on the water. I'm on the water tonight. But yeah, Feral Friday, August 25th.
Water. Oh.
Yeah, just straight water tonight.
I've got, what do I have in here? I have a diet Dr. Pepper cherry. So it's Dr. Pepper cherry, but tastes like a cherry Coke with 0 sugar. And I'm just a big fan of Buc-ee's, so I just tossed it in here so it stays cold.
And yeah, normally when I do drink, though, I actually drink DDP, Dr. Pepper with Crown Royal on here.
Well, I guess I know what I'm going to be joining you for in Vegas, because I was just going to do tequila in Vegas when I'm on the 20th on Feral. But now I'm thinking I should probably just do like a vodka Sprite.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
I'm almost always beer. I just drink a few beers.
We're gonna get Dan on the liquor one night. Get him a liquor drink.
I have to drink for the shows, man. Honestly, in person, I'm super shy and awkward in my opinion, and I get a few brews in me, and I'm able to flow a little better.
Dan gets wild on here now. Dan is the best on here, but yeah, he's got to get a little bit of the social lubricant rocking and rolling.
Social
lubricant to get it going, baby. Lube him up a little. Feral Fridays, Heather. You know what's coming down the pike. Dara's drinking a spicy margarita. That sounds good. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm
Pepper,
looking through
Michelle.
Sorry, I'm looking here. Bob left a comment, and I think it's really important that we all remember this is a death penalty case. 1,000,000%.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are literally fighting to the death, as he puts it. And like I told you guys earlier about my case in Indiana, where I have to go polygraph test an inmate that's sitting in death row, that you have to do what you have to do. It really is. You're there to do a job, but you fight to the death, especially when you know that your client's life is literally on the line.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very important point. I mean, the dude's life is on the line at the end of the day, and that just makes the point stronger that Ann Taylor, the defense team, they need to do everything in their power to make sure this is proper and right. I mean, that does make sense. One of the coolest things, like, honestly, when we first started out this case and we first started out this channel, as we've kind of grown here and getting to know a lot of actual experts and professionals on Twitter, such as Bob, an actual defense attorney, man, it's really totally changed my perception personally, and I'd say Dan's as well, like on how I look at all this stuff.
We've learned a shit ton,
dude. So fucking much. Like, again, absolutely privileged to be able to talk to these. Again, Lisa, you an expert. Like, it's crazy. Like, again, I can't believe what's kind of growing here. Not only with Jay, with this group, J-Bo Nation, J-Buzz Nation, the love, the Bo effect, the outpouring of everybody. Dude, this is amazing. Like, it's so cool.
I was telling Stevie when we booked you, Lisa, I was like, what happened? How did this happen? Like, I never expected us to have like legitimate, like, people, like professional people like you and Bob on our show. And now it's happening.
Professionals pushing it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's wild, man.
Well, experts, I should say. Experts in their field.
Someone, educated, has the pieces of paper. No, but again, I mean, it's a work-life balance. Like, are you going to get me the way that I am with you guys right now while I'm in court or I'm doing? Absolutely not. There's a time and place for everything, but it comes down to like work-life balance. Like, I think people forget that even as experts, there's so much trauma that we go through. There are things that we have to hear. There are things that we have to do. like I told you earlier, like I was in Rikers Island this morning, polygraph testing an inmate on a really, really fucked up situation. So like this for me is like, hey, I'm going to be able to do this, let loose, cut loose, relax, and just let it all go. And then I'll be able to sleep tonight because I don't feel like I'm carrying any burden. I'm letting it go. And this is like the most screwed up form of therapy I can ask for. So I appreciate you guys for even having me. That's
amazing. No, that's the coolest thing ever to hear, honestly. And at that point, hell, seeing Bob, he was on court TV earlier today in a suit, right? When he comes on here and hangs out, I mean, you're getting a different version of Bob on here, and I love it. Like,
yeah, this is the late night show. You can let your hair down. You can have a good time.
Yeah, that was something that Dan was even kind of saying. He's like, we're kind of like the late night version of this entire true crime thing going on right now, right? Like it's kind of like it's got its spot, it's got its space, and I dig it, man. And again, to your point, Lisa, it's if you can come on here and kind of let your hair down, have a professional conversation, an actual, good conversation, thought-provoking conversation, but also it's not just
you don't have to watch the words you use.
Yeah, you don't have to watch what you're saying. It's a great atmosphere, man.
Yeah, it doesn't like for me, I prefer when things are like not scripted, and that way we can just go ahead and like have a conversation. And it's I think the big thing that a lot of things like interviews are missing are the authenticity and just being able to just shoot from the hip, because everyone's always like, oh, you got to watch your words, watch your feelings and everything else. Listen, I get everyone has feelings. I get everyone has emotions. But like, I can't control my thoughts and my opinions just because of who I'm around. Like freedom of speech, great thing. Not saying anything to deliberately offend anyone. I'm not doing anything to deliberately cause harm. It's just that this is who I am. So if I have said anything to offend anyone or do anything, I do apologize. Not my cup of tea. I'm not deliberately doing anything, but
well, I think
that's Buttercup.
I think that
our community is amazing too. They
absolutely are. And I think that's why this form of entertainment is really on the internet anyways, is catching on with folks in the world. Like the numbers are bigger than they ever have been. I'm talking like big channels. Like they can draw some crazy ass numbers, bigger numbers than national television, because of real actual conversations that we're able to have on here that aren't scripted. You don't have some director, whoever the fuck is telling you to say this or don't say that. Like it's changing. Podcasts in general are changing the game out here. So
100%.
And
100%.
It's amazing, man. It's so cool. I can't get over it though. Oh, Bob,
well,
you've
you
been
guys
amazing.
are stuck with me, so tough shit.
Love it, man. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, and everybody coming through here tonight. You guys are amazing. This has been crazy. Okay, August 25th, Feral Friday. She's gonna be back. Lisa's gonna be coming back. She's gonna be hanging out. She's gonna have a few drinks, and we're gonna get deep into some polygraph shit. I'm gonna have lots of questions. I've already got lots of questions. We were trying to not do it tonight.
Like, write them up. Like, I mean, I feel bad. Like, I know, like, people tuned in, they have questions, they want to ask stuff, but like, you can't.
We gotta
show
save
it all.
No. We gotta save it.
This is
And
our first date.
I like the tease also.
This is our first date. I can't just give it up the first night. I gotta like slowly ease you guys into it.
That's right. Real quick before we go, we got another anniversary. City Kitty coming through. 1 month anniversary. Holy shit. Hold on, let me get you with it. I can't
Cheers to that.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Anniversary! It's anniversary!
Son of a bitch!
Thank you so much, City Kitty. You also get an Eric Foreman son of a bitch.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm like, happy anniversary. All heavy and son of a bitch. Like.
Oh my God, we're not even done. Kimberly KV with 3 months as well. Love you guys. Love you guys so much. Wow, what the fuck?
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Anniversary! It's anniversary!
Love it so much. Yeah, you guys hanging out for this amount of time. 3 months with us? You kidding me? That's wild. Beers in the chat flowing right now. Wow. You guys are crazy. Tomorrow night, I don't know what the hell's going on. We're going to be doing Feral Friday in normal time frame, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, I don't know.
We may not have a guest.
I don't know. I need to literally put together a show tomorrow. I need to figure out whether we're going to do true crime, paranormal, aliens. I have no fucking clue. We're going to see what's going on. And yeah, we'll do it in real time. I may put a poll up. I'll tell you what, on the community on YouTube, to keep your eyes open, and also on Twitter, folks, because I may put some polls up. We'll see what's up. We'll let you guys choose what's happening.
Yeah, let's do that.
And yeah, Lisa, man, what the fuck? What an awesome show.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for like those that are maybe not going to be able to tune in. So like if anyone does have questions about anything that I said, or they just want to comment, like slide into my DMs. I'm a complete open book, as you can tell already. Like I'll answer whatever I can.
Lisa rules on Twitter.
Throw up the ad on Twitter there, somebody.
Mandy's going to gift out a membership. Tabby Cat just got a membership. Holy crap, you guys are crazy. This is insane. Hold on, let me throw the beers in chat first of all, but also let me hit you with a little bit of little ODB.
Welcome to the party, pal.
It's awesome. You guys are crazy. And again, Stevie Irwin, thank you so much for that thumbnail, sir.
Did you have a
Stevie,
command?
That's such an awesome graphic. Oh,
Did you have a command for Lisa's Twitter? For stream elements?
I don't. I need to put that in there.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to go ahead and pull it up just so I have it ready for Feral Friday. I should have done that. I need to. And then Jay on his stream earlier today was hanging out on stream elements and like doing stuff in real time. And there's a lot of stuff I need to like look into on here that I can do extra that I don't. But I definitely, even right now, I've already pulled it up here. I'm going to get your Twitter in here for a custom command, Lisa.
Okay.
That way, when
I just feel bad because I know some people had questions and I didn't really get a chance to like scroll deep into them. So that's why I was like, if you're not going to be able to make Feral because of like the time zone or whatever it is, just like DM whatever it is. And I'm pretty responsive on Twitter now that it's on my laptop, the big screen TV that I actually converted into a computer, and then also on my cell phone. So I just can't get away. Some of my stuff is pretty snarky. I do apologize.
Boom. Boom. There it is. I got it laced up. I did that quick. I did that really quick.
Nice.
So yeah, if you hit exclamation point Lisa, all lowercase, her Twitter will pop right up, guys. And yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, shit. There we
Even
go.
when you're not on this fucking show, we'll do that. Like we will.
Stevie,
awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Like,
Stevie's
no, I
becoming a
appreciate
techie. He's going to take my job.
getting it. Dan, you're fired.
And
We
then
don't
I'll
need you
officially be
anymore.
fired.
Only
For like the
Dan's
50th. I'll
is
be
gone.
fired for like the 50th time on this show.
Bob, thank you so much for coming through here. Appreciate it. Carrie, thank you. Jay, Sleuthy, everybody. Kaylin, Dara, Wildside, Debbie. Thank you all so much, everybody.
Make
Man,
sure you hit the like on the way
Yeah.
out. We got 121 in here, 98 likes. Hit it.
hit that. Oh, shit.
Bob, thanks so much for being here. Kerry, you're awesome. I will text you in a little bit. And everyone else, I really like. I promise you, like, if you had a really great time tonight, the 25th, put it on your calendar. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow. You have plenty of time to sober up and prep your liver because it's going to be a phenomenal fucking show.
It's going to be so.
She knows how to promote too.
She does, dude. Phenomenal fucking show. That's amazing. Okay, we're 2 likes away from 100. That's we're anybody in here hit that son of a bitch. Get the likes up here as you head out the door. Hit that like. Get us in the algorithm on YouTube. Thank you all so much. Yeah, Lisa, have a great night. I'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure.
We will be absolutely talking soon, guys.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Feral Friday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. We will see you there. I'm going to hit the portal, and you will be in Jay's stream shortly. Thank you all so much.
Perfect.
Peace.
Bye, guys.